Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is, wherever you are. I'm Ian Banner, and uh, these are Agile Bites. They are short videos that I deliver to your inbox nearly every Friday. Today's title is Why the Agile Framework Exists. Really, what I'm getting at here with this bite is some of the background thinking of why some of the things in Agile came about. So sometimes you will find lots of talk on what Agile is, but there sometimes aren't that much around about why it exists. And I want to go through some of the reasons and the concepts. This is an Agile Bite. There are other versions of my talks, Agile Deep Dives, which are far more detailed in certain subjects and are more like training courses, but this is an Agile Bite. Just in case you don't know, I am Ian Banner. I love all things Agile and project management. I guess in my heart I like coaching people in general management skills and Agile skills. But I speak always on Agile on a viewpoint of 25 years experience of running traditional projects across the UK. I like to vary what I do sometimes. So sometimes I will do a Scrum Master role, sometimes a Product Owner role, sometimes an Agile Delivery Manager, sometimes a coach. Why the Agile Framework exists. I just want to point out that word framework to start with. Interestingly enough, the word isn't process, it isn't usually toolkit, those kind of words. It's called a framework, and that's just the phrasing that was used in the founding fathers of Agile, partly because they don't like processes, and they say that in one of the manifestos. I refer you to another Agile Bite on the Agile Manifesto. So I want to talk through some key reasons why it exists and tell you a couple of stories that just illustrate this well. I'm a guy who likes to tell stories to illustrate my point, so you'll see that coming out later. Okay, let's get into it. This is one of the concepts of why Agile exists. That is a picture of Charles Darwin, and in his seminal work on the origin of the species, there is the following quote: "It's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change." He noted this in species, but I think it's true generally of organizations as well, and individuals. Now, let me illustrate this by telling you that when I was in my 30s, I'm 53 now, when I was in my 30s, my vision was to be world-class at things. I wanted to be a world-class bridge player. I wanted to be a world-class designer. I wanted to be a world-class project manager. And actually, wanting to be world-class is just wanting to be the strongest at something. I also once did a brand me exercise where what came out was fast, clear solutions. That was Ian, that was what he did for a living, and that's partly the most intelligent, isn't it? So it took a while for me to realize, actually, that isn't what makes you successful. What makes you successful is your ability to adapt and change in life, particularly in today's dynamic landscape. So I'm speaking now to anyone who's got 20 years experience of project management using prints, using traditional waterfall methods. Your value in a company is usually down to what you've experienced. But the reality is, more and more these days, you need to learn new skills. And Agile certainly is one of those areas where they're required. I refer you to another Agile Bite coming up, which is the business case for Agile and why it's needed. Anyway, so just as organizations need to be able to change, so do applications and systems. So one of the key concepts of Agile, one of the 12 principles that's noted in the Agile Manifesto is we welcome change. It's not the strongest nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. Lots of IT projects and traditional methods work exactly the opposite way. The last thing they want is change once they've decided what something is. So that's one of the reasons that Agile exists, which is to be responsive to change. Another reason it exists is, well, I want to tell you a story. This is me, a picture of me, and I'm blindfolded there throwing darts, and that's how I felt once when I worked on a project. I was doing the work of the business analysis on this project. Just checking how we're doing time. Business analysis for this project, and essentially I'd got to create a new product catalog system for a company I worked for, and I was creating the requirements for that product catalog so that it could be sent to lots of companies to work out how much it would be costing. And I remember I went off to talk to some of the marketing people in the company and said, we're going to create this new order catalog system. What kind of discounts do you want in this catalog? Do you want percentage discounts, i.e. you buy another product from us, it's 5% cheaper than it should be? Do you want fixed discounts? You buy another product from us, you get a tenner off. Do you want weekend shout? Just this weekend only, this product is 25% reduced, just for the weekend. Or bog offs, buy one, get one free. It was a telco, so buy a 5 gig data add-on and get another 5 gig data add-on for free. I said, what products do you, what discounts do you want in this catalogue? And they said to me, how long will it take to deliver? And I went, it's about 18 months. And they said, we have no idea what discounts we will want in 18 months. We have no idea what the market will ask us. We'll have no idea what our chief execs are asking us to do. We'll have no idea on what business metrics we'll have to try and hit in each quarter. We can't possibly tell you which one of these we want, so we'll have to have all of them. And I said, okay, let's put them all as requirements. Let's send them all out to these companies. And the projects came in at cost between 8 and 12 million. And I remember thinking that the prices were about right for these projects. I remember that. And I thought, half of these discounts we won't need, but I don't know which half. So we'll have to have all of them. Actually, that project never actually got signed off because, the business value of £8 million or £12 million for a new catalogue couldn't be made clear when they'd have to hold their breath for 18 months before they got it. So this project never got off the ground. I want to compare it now to a version of the project that we did using Agile, where essentially we stood up a new telco stack over 13 weeks. We had to, we used a lot of products from lots of companies. We brought a lot of consultants in to do it. Previously, we'd done a 3-week prototype. And that 3-week prototype consisted of slides that showed how it could all work together. It was quite embarrassing when we saw the prototype come back. No use at all, didn't tell us anything, just a bunch of consultant slides. So we said, okay, what we need is to build a system that could be potentially shippable in the end as our system, and we're going to build it in this sandbox environment. We're going to build it here, and we're going to bring in consultants from the product company that make the products. We're going to bring other systems integrators in, and we're going to put them all together in a single place. And over 13 weeks, we're going to put together a stack. And at the end of 13 weeks, we're going to show you a prepaid top-up. And that's exactly what we did. 13 weeks later, we had assembled a team of over 50 people. We built the system. We showed the directors of the company a prepaid top-up working completely on the system. Lots of small errors happened during that time, but we put them right very quickly because we hadn't written loads of slides, we hadn't written loads of documentation yet. So at the end of 13 weeks, we said to the business, this is a doable stack. What do you want to do with it next? And they went, well, before you put it live, we do want a particular thing put in it. We want Weekend Shout because Easter's coming up in about 8 weeks. Can we put a product catalogue together for this Easter weekend that lets us put extra things out just for the Easter weekend to all our shops? And we went, let me just spend a bit of time thinking about it. And we came back and went, yep, to put the Weekend Shout in will take 6 weeks. So we targeted a 6-week delivery, and at the end of the 6 weeks, we did it. We had a stable team, we knew each other, we knew what we were capable of, we've been working together, so we delivered exactly 6 weeks later. Same thing happened again. What next did we need? Another product was, and that third one we didn't deliver in 6 weeks, we missed the deadline by 2 days. So if you look at the diagram there, you can see the comparison between the first example, which is how on earth can I possibly hit a target that's far away, and the example at the top, which is, did a 13-week project, then a 6, then a 6. Can you see how far more reliable these shorter pieces of work are? And that's one of the concepts of Agile, which is short pieces of work, as you'll see. But this concept is essentially best described by my friend Einstein. The further the distance I shoot, the less accurate I will be. Therefore, the higher risk of missing the target. It's just a simple truth, isn't it? So that's 2 of the concepts of why Agile exists. In my next talk, I'm just going to go through some of the history of Agile. Let me just sum up these concepts now. Here are some of the key principles. Agile responds to change easily. It has short targets in it and allows you to come up with smart failure. As someone famously once said to me, I have an enormous appetite in our company for smart failure. That means trying things out for short periods of time, and if they don't work, learning from them. I have no capacity for dumb failure. That is doing the same thing in the same way, expecting different results. So short targets and smart failure. And the third key principle is you measure if you're hitting the targets and you adjust. And this is the core of Agile and the empirical process that's behind it, which is you transparently inspect what you've done and adapt to hit the targets better. So that's it for today, some of the key principles. Next week I'm going to talk through some of the history of Agile and some of the key learning points that came from it. And I hope that'll be useful. Of course, I do always finish with a homework shower challenge. A homework shower challenge it is homework, but you can do it while you're running or having a shower or sitting on a bus or driving. And today's is this. If you've got some traditional project management background and you've got waterfall as one of your methods, what do you think the key principles are behind that method? What do you think the key principles are behind waterfall? That's it for today. Don't forget the survey. Where you got this, there's a link to go to a survey which gives me great feedback, and the feedback is really important. If you write in that feedback, could you talk about the following, Ian? Within a couple of weeks, you'll find I'll do a little agile bart on that subject, so feel free to fill that in. Don't forget also, if you know anyone else who would enjoy these Friday morning little fireside chats, as they sort of are, then either forward the invite that you got originally, or you could just email me at ian@bigagility.com. That's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this Agile Bite.